Hi, I'm Dustin from Snaggletooth Lures and Rigs, and today we'll be talking about how to catch alligator gar. We'll start off by talking about the rods, reels, and rigs used for catching gator gar. So let's move on to that, and thanks for watching, and we hope you learn a lot. Okay, now let's talk about the rods, reels, and rigs. Start off talking about this. The reels I like to use are the Pin 209s. They got good line capacity, good cranking power, and something that's real important, it's got a bait clicker. This helps let you know whenever you're getting a run, so you can have multiple rods out, and you don't have to be keeping a close eye on them. You'll be able to hear when he runs. I have mine spooled up with 20-pound monofilament. You can use braid. I just prefer the monofilament. And the rods I like are the eagle claw, cat claw rods. They're good and stout, so you can turn the big gar easy. These are 8 foot long. That also helps fight the gator gar in. And the rig I have on this rod is a new rig. That's actually still in testing. It's a mouth hooking rig. It's got 2 5/0 treble hooks, 1 foot wire leader. You hook the bait on those 2 hooks, and the hookup percentage should go way up over a normal rig like this. This is more of a gut hooking styled rig. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. This is one of our 5-foot gator gar rigs here. It's got the same 5/0 treble hook. It's just got about a 5-foot wire leader. And then how you normally rig these up is with a sliding float, a sliding lead. This is a 3/8 ounce lead here. It's got beads to protect the knots and everything. And to stop the float and lead from sliding all the way up the main line, I got a stop knot that I just tie in with dental floss. It's real easy to tie. You can look those up on the internet. Just real simple rigs. You can find all these products and more at my website at snaggletoothluresandrigs.com. So let's move on to talking about baits used for gator gar. So let's go have a look at those. Okay, now let's talk about baits. I'm not out fishing right now, so I don't have any baits out to show you, but the baits I normally like to use are what I normally call skipjack. The proper name is ladyfish. More popular baits, more commonly used, is probably carp and buffalo. They're also real easy to catch, and you can get a lot more baits from them. You can cut them up into more pieces. But I've also had good luck on bowfin, freshwater eel, and hard head catfish. Those are saltwater catfish. I normally use cut baits, but you can use whole baits if you want. Just slit the sides to make the blood and juices flow out a little easier, make the gar be able to find them easier. And next we'll be showing some pictures of how to hook the baits on the different gator gar rigs. So let's go take a look at those. Now we'll be talking about how to safely handle the gar you catch. So first thing we'll talk about is gloves. I like to have a good pair of thick cotton gloves whenever I go fishing for gar. No matter if it's gator gar, long nose, spotted gar, I always have a pair of good thick cotton gloves, so to help pad your hand if one is to bite you, and it helps you grip the fish better. I always like to wet them down before I pick up the fish, so it'll help not take off the slime coat. Just help, fish safety a little bit there. So I always like to have a good pair of cotton gloves. And now we'll move on to how to land the gar. The questions I always get are, how do you land the gar? I like to use a gar rope. That's what I call it. Just a length of rope. Got a loop on one end, a handle on the other. Cable is more fish friendly because rope sometimes tends to make the gar bleed, but I haven't been able to find the stuff needed in my area to make those, so we'll talk about that in a later video. And how you do this is you take the handle and you put it through the loop, and then that makes a sliding knot, and you just slide that on the fish, and you put it under the pectoral fins and pull it tight. Just ease it tight, because if not, the gar will tend to freak out, and I've had them go straight up, jump straight up and out of the loop. So that's one way to land the gator gar. I've seen people use nets before. I've tried it, but I've had them go straight through the net, and so I would just like to use this a lot. It's a lot easier. And so another thing I want to talk about is the gar are a declining species. Lots of people don't think they are. It's still kind of controversial. So, but one thing I like to stress is catch and release. If you catch a big gar, try to release it. If you're gut hooking them, try to keep them if you're going to be eating them. Just don't throw them out on the bank. That's illegal. I always like to mouth hook the gar. To me, it's more ethical. I don't like to gut hook them, because really and truly, I think that the gar will die eventually from it. Lots of people don't believe that they will. But to me, anytime you leave a large hook and a length of wire running through a gar's stomach, or any fish's stomach, it's at least not too ethical at the least. So I always try to mouth hook them. So that's one thing I always like to stress, is catch and release, and always mouth hook them. If you're going to be eating them, you can gut hook them, but if you're going to be catch and release, you always try to mouth hook them. So this is the conclusion of the video, so we'll end this, and hope you learned a lot from the video. You can find any of the products seen here at my website, snaggletoothluresandrigs.com. So hope you learned a lot from the video, and good fishing.